Green Bay going to Pittsburgh, Jordan Love versus Aaron Rodgers, and the game he made very clear was not a revenge game. Maybe it ended a little bad in Green Bay, but you kind of understood both sides. It seems like they're okay. I think Aaron Rodgers is just happy to be away from the Jets. We knew going into tonight that the concern for Pittsburgh was going to be, one, the defense, two, Rodgers' mobility, and going up against that Green Bay defense, the pass rush, Micah Parsons. And those things did rear their head as the game progressed. Green Bay won it 35-25. Let's start with the Green Bay side because they are the winners. And let's start with Jordan Love, who was amazing. His best performance of the year, one of his best performances you will see. He was absolutely on fire. I've got a QB comparison between the two. Pull it up right here. As you can see, Love, 29 for 37, 360 yards, 3 touchdowns, no sack, a 134 rating. Aaron Rodgers on the other side, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 sacks, 100 rating. The 3 sacks, a big difference. Jordan Love was able to escape and make plays. The game really broke to me on the play Jordan Love made in the red zone, rolling to his right, escaping, and he threw a floater across the middle, I believe to Christian Watson, over a linebacker, ended up setting up a Josh Jacobs touchdown. From that moment on, Green Bay just never looked back. They felt like the better football team basically all night, but they were kind of stalling out after they moved to the opponent's side of the field. They'd move the ball, have a good drive going, and just kind of stall out once they got into the opposing territory, missed a couple field goals, so it was closer than it probably should have been. I made a video last week talking about the Packers and how I felt like maybe there were some offensive issues and didn't feel like it was cohesive and gelling like I expected it to. And I asked Packers fans to comment, and a few did, talking about almost unanimously, the Packers' reaction to my video was, oh, we're going to be fine. Not worried about it at all. We got some injured guys. We're playing good. The concern level for Packers fans, just from what I heard, was a 0. They were right, because this was an incredible performance. This is what I've been kind of waiting to see, though. Not that it couldn't happen. I just wanted to see Jordan Love just take a game over like this and play elite quarterback, and he did it for 60 minutes. He looked amazing. Tucker Kraft was unguardable. What a tight end. What a weapon. When you have that physical bruiser tight end, it is such a great weapon and such a escape valve for a quarterback. Jordan Love was making plays all night. Pittsburgh just really had no answer. I thought the Pittsburgh defense was holding up okay in the first half, and as the game progressed, they couldn't hold them, they couldn't stop them, and offensively, they couldn't really get anything going either. They were very limited. For Pittsburgh to win this game, kind of had to go a certain way, and it never did. Green Bay is in cruise control in the NFC. They're 5-1-1. I think the only thing that can hold Green Bay back is them. I've thought the offensive play calling was a bit limited at times. Not tonight. I'm just talking about in general over the course of the season. But you can see they're really experimenting, finding themselves, working around the injuries and the different receiving groups and people they have coming in. Christian Watson's back. He looked great coming off the knee injury. Collinsworth talked a lot about how much he was willing to block and what he did just blocking tonight. You hope he can stay healthy because he's had a lot of injury problems. He misses a lot of games. But when he's on the field, he does make a difference. Even when he's not catching the ball, just having him within the Packers makes the offense better. Jacobs never really got anything going, but they stayed committed enough to the run where it was a threat. They felt like they could pick up a first down with it. And Green Bay just pretty much controlled the game and controlled the Packers. Green Bay pretty much just controlled the game, controlled the Steelers, and they're a Super Bowl contender for sure. I think they're one of the better teams in the NFC. You could see things not going great for them because they could have those performances that feel a little lackluster, but they are gelling and they're just starting to feel more cohesive and get to know each other, and they're playing on a team level. You expect them to just get better week by week. On the flip side, regarding the Steelers, it's just kind of the same issue with the Steelers. It's kind of what you expect. The only difference is in years past, you always expect the Steelers to have a dominant defense and then just squeak by on offense. This year, they're just not dominant on either side of the ball. The defense has been downright bad most of the time. Mike Tomlin has acknowledged such. The secondary is a problem, and they got torched by a really good quarterback. I thought Rodgers was playing well most of the game. He made a couple just throws that make you throw your head back and throw your arms up because he's so talented, even still at his age. But the mobility does become a factor because anytime the pocket starts to collapse, it's kind of over. He can't make anything happen. And when his receivers aren't getting covered up most of the night, that doesn't help either. They mentioned on the broadcast, and it did seem he started to key in on Micah Parsons because anytime Parsons got close to him at all, Aaron Rodgers would start to step up. There was one time late in the game where he stepped up kind of into a sack when I thought he had a clean pocket. But when you're having to make so many plays, you know you're going to have to be Superman for your team to win with your limitations. It's almost impossible. I thought Rodgers was fine this game, but fine was not good enough. They needed more. And the Steelers are going to be one of the teams that they're going to win enough games to be in it, but I don't think anyone's going to be scared of them. It's kind of the same thing throughout the past few years, only this time you do have better quarterback play. They're just not elite at any area. There's nothing the Steelers do that really makes you worry or makes you game plan. It used to be that it was the defense as a whole. It was the pass rush. It was the secondary, or, oh, their run game's really good. It's all on offense, just average, defense below average. And 7-8 weeks into the season, I just think that's who they are. They'll probably squeak into a wild card slot and get beat in round one. That's usually what they do. That's their MO. And until they can find a franchise quarterback, and I'm talking about a future because Aaron Rodgers, but this year, maybe next year it's over. The Steelers have to have a succession plan. They have to find someone that can come in and make plays and bail them out. Like when you don't have everything going right, you need a guy who can make plays off schedule. When things collapse, when everything's not going by the book, he can, pull us out of the fire, because the teams that really compete and the best teams in the league, they all have a guy that does that. The problem is Mike Tomlin is a good enough coach that they just never are bad enough to be picking in the range of a quarterback. So unless you hit on a guy later, and which is possible because you look at the draft last year, Jackson Dart went very late first round. Giants traded to the back end of the first round to get him. So he was on the board. There are players there. They just have to do a better job in the QB scouting department and see if they can find an answer, whether it's a guy that's bounced around the league. I mean, look at what Steichen's doing with Daniel Jones. So there are answers out there. They just have to address it and realize until they get superior quarterback play, they're going to just kind of hover in the same range from year to year. That's just what they do. Tomlin's good enough. You're never going to completely fall off a cliff. And if you did that, maybe the draft picks would lead to a better change. We'll see how they manage it. They're going to be relevant in the AFC, but they're not going to be a team anyone's really afraid of.